These are two different types of argumentative communication devices. For those of you who do not know what argumentative or ACC devices are, they are devices that are used to help students with severe speech or language disabilities. Students who have autism, ACL, and who have suffered from a stroke are likely to use ACC devices. The ACC devices are used for individuals who cannot use verbal speech to communicate or for those individuals who are difficult to understand. There are many different types of ACC devices. Some have symbols, pictures, drawings, some have a combination, some have one or the other. The way they work is when an individual needs to communicate with someone else, they can either type, if there's letters on the keys, type out what they're trying to say, or if there's just pictures on the keys, it could be as easy as a picture of a child eating, which could be used to communicate that an individual is hungry or that they want food. There are many different types. There's ones that are much more complicated and some that are less complicated. This one has many more buttons and keys. It has a whole full keyboard, so the individual can actually type out, which you can see up here at the top. It can actually be seen what they're trying to say, gives many more details than others. Some are less complicated, and like this, which just have a few different pictures on it, which can be used for students with more severe disabilities or younger children. This is something like, could have a picture of the child eating, and you could press the key and it would say, I am hungry, or I want food. So it's very simple and easy to communicate with others. There are many different benefits for using the ACC devices, not only in everyday life just to be able to communicate, but especially in the special education classrooms. They help because the teachers can focus on the concepts and not just on trying to be able to communicate with the students. With these devices, then the student can easily communicate with the teacher as well as the teacher with the student, and they can focus on the actual education and like learning the material. Since there are many different types, there's a few things to consider when looking into getting an ACC device. First, you need to consider what type of buttons you would like, or keys. If you want something easier, then you can look at getting something like this that just has a few pictures on it, very few keys, something that's very simple for most to operate. Or if you need something that's going to give more details, then you can get something like this one, which shows exactly what they're trying to communicate because they can type out everything. This one's much more complicated, would need to be used for older individuals. Next, once you have decided on what kind of keys you would like, you need to know which way you would like to be able to select the buttons. If you want it to actually be a touch when you hit the buttons, or if you'd rather it be more of a scanning method. Last, once you've decided on both those, you need to be able to decide on which way you want the message to be transmitted. Either something like this, which is visual, and the message comes up on the screen, so you actually have to be able to see it, or you can get something like the other one, which this one would actually say to you what you press. So this one you wouldn't actually need to be there and see the screen as long as you could hear it. So once you've considered all three of those things, it would be easy to select the ACC device that would work for you. Again, they work very well in special education classrooms because they help be able to communicate from the student to the teacher and from the teacher to the student, as well as in everyday life.